All right, welcome to a long overdue episode of the podcast. Today we are sitting in the middle of the house, somewhere in the depths of Midtown of despair. I'm here with several people this time, and we'll go around the room.
I'm Robert. We're all in the Family Ghost. I'll say.
Yep. I'm Paul.
Ryan.
And I'm Jacques.
And collectively, like you said, you're known as
The Family
the
Ghost.
Family Ghost.
Yeah, look out.
So, first of all, for anybody who doesn't know, the Family Ghost is a musical group. They play the music, they play the guitars and the sound recordings and that sort of thing. So, number one, how long has the Family Ghost been around?
We have been going on and off 13 years since summer of 2011. No, I got that wrong right out of the gate. What year is this? We've been going since the summer of 2001. I'm not going to speak for the remainder of this.
So how did that start?
Well, Jacques and I were in, I guess, the band first. We just kind of played around, being friends and liking similar music, and we'd have, I don't know,
people come in and out. We try to write with. It never really shook out.
We had kind of a steady lineup about, right after we got the name, settled on a name, and yeah.
How long did that lineup stick around?
The first
That
lineup.
lineup was pretty tenuous.
Yeah.
We had maybe 2 years with the first lineup.
Maybe something like that.
And yeah, we had members leave, new members come in. Paul came in for a while, actually, around 2003, and played with us for a year or two.
It was
Am I wrong on my timeline?
2002 to 2003.
Okay. And we had one member leave for LA. He lives out in LA now. He's doing his own thing out there. And
Is he successful in LA?
he's playing music. He's doing some good stuff. He's drumming in a surf band. It's very good. Yeah.
And Ryan, when did you join the band?
I'm the newest member of the Family Ghost. I think the reason, I think 2011, maybe.
Yeah, that seems right. So, yeah, 2011 is relevant to this.
So that is when the band really formed.
Yeah.
Thank you for
The
saying
current
this.
lineup. Yeah. You've
So-
been redeemed.
Thank you.
So tell me about the name Family Ghost. Where did that come from?
Okay, so I'll field this one. Our former drummer, Brad, and I got really obsessed with this King Diamond song called The Family Ghost. I thought the video was really funny and the song was really funny. And we're really fixated on this when we were in high school. Like the entire musical output of King Diamond was a kind of a running joke with us. And we were struggling, Robert and I, to come up with a band name. And couldn't really settle on anything because naming things is difficult. And I think, did I throw that out there?
Yeah,
maybe.
that was your idea.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny to us, like funny to the social circle, who thought this was like a funny song and a funny guy or whatever. It also sounded innocuous enough to make for a decent band name. So yeah, it's weirdly kind of a joke band name, even though there's not an ounce of humor in the music we play.
There's an ounce. Yeah.
So how would you describe, if you're telling people what kind of band it is, how do you describe that?
I don't. I'm not good at that.
It's terrible to. It's a really difficult thing to answer, and every band says this. I'll say we are like a post-punk / noise band. Maybe that kind of gets in the ballpark.
What is post-punk?
So, like
It
a
happened
subgenre.
after punk.
Thank you. So things like
So did Britney Spears.
oh, she's like the exemplar
That's
of the genre.
it.
No, so it's stuff like Joy Division and the first few PIL albums and the pop group and Gang of Four, and early Cure, Comsat Angels and stuff like that. Those are that's some bands with that loose
they say
genre.
I had it in my head. Like DIY kind of that punk ethos, do it yourself, but a little more musically ambitious, I guess. Sometimes,
sometimes moodier, maybe a
Moodier.
little more introspective or inward looking.
Sometimes.
But it's not even
vague,
it's not a
vague.
yeah, it's not a strict genre but it's something that I think has been used to sort of umbrella.
It's sort of like the term schizophrenia. It envelops, a lot of
Or bipolar.
Symptoms.
Yeah.
a lot of
it's
symptoms without really describing what something is. Really,
Well, I think one of the reasons, we do, I hear post punk from other people a lot of times. I think one of the hardest things about categorizing, I know most every band, it's always kind of hard to describe your own work, but I think one of the things with us is all four of us write, and we all have, we have just, we do have common ground, but then we have our own things outside of the common circle that we bring in, which, so you can have two different songs that, on the same album, but you have things that are, some of the stuff that's pretty unapologetic, guitar pop type, type hooks, and then we have some that's just, straight up noise, and
how does the noise element
chaos.
fit in? Was that something that just kind of happens, or is it coming from one particular person? Or
It's pretty organic. It might come more from Robert and me than Paul and Ryan, maybe, but everything in this band is down to consensus, pretty much. So, any decision we make is an organic decision based on what we'd like to hear, and we reach a conclusion among the four of us about whether it'll fly or not, and that's how it ultimately either stays or goes.
how does what gets vetoed? I mean, is that ever contentious?
It's rarely
It's rare.
contentious. It has happened, but ordinarily, it's a kind of mild disagreements, unless I'm wrong.
I'm trying to think of anything. It seems like we've had some things that were kind of 3-1, just ideas that, and ultimately I don't think there's ever been anything that anybody's felt strong enough that they couldn't be dissuaded, to the group consensus. So,
And this even goes outside of music. This comes down to our sleeve design, how
that
we
was
present things. I think the sleeve design was more contentious than anything on the record, maybe, which could be telling. Maybe, yeah.
It took longer on that to record the record.
Almost.
Not
I think when we do
Not
that,
quite.
we actually
Well-
we had more disagreements about the layout, what pictures to use, how many pictures to use.
Yeah.
how to
I think
present
the
pictures.
most argument was over the title of this record.
That's true.
That was interminable.
Well, let's talk about the new record then. First of all, what is the title?
No Dreams.
That's very hopeful.
That's all you need to know.
So tell me about how did that title?
Well, what it was, we had a bunch of ideas that we weren't really. Someone would suggest kind of I don't know, argue, but nothing felt right, and we're just trying everything, going through all of the lyrics, and is this any lines we could take out, use for a title. Then Jacques used some samples in two of our songs.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh man, maybe we could get an idea from those samples, because our lyrics, there are words, and a title has words. So that was in one of the samples in the song. What's the song?
It was Death Blow.
Death Blow. And you got all the samples from.
I'm not going to reveal my sample sources. But it was there are a lot of spoken dialogue samples on this record, and this one was from a particular source on that.
So if you hear the song at some point, someone says,
someone says no
"Any
dreams.
dreams? No dreams."
And that's where the title came from.
So
And then we eventually settled on it after
After
some more debate.
An arduous amount of debate over the record title.
So how would you describe this record? Is this a step in a different direction? Is this more of the same? What would you?
From I wouldn't say a different direction, but it's sort of our earlier. I don't know. I guess it pushes some things further. Maybe what they are, I don't know,
But probably things that were already existing
Yeah.
in our dynamic to begin with. If anything, it does what songs on our other albums have, or other songs have done, but maybe pushes those things out a little bit more.
Like what kinds of things?
Like I was saying,
Musically,
some of the-
lyrically.
Lyrically, probably not so much. I mean, I can't speak for these guys, but the focus isn't isn't necessarily too far afield of what the songs are ordinarily about, in that they're about things. But maybe the electronics are forefronted more, and the noise is forefronted a little bit more. But also, in some cases, the pop element is forefronted substantially more than on some of our previous releases.
That was one thing that kind of surprised me was, because especially in the early part of the record is a bit noisier and a bit more kind of discordant, and then suddenly here comes like a guitar pop song, and I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting, and it all just kind of, how does something like that happen?
We just had a bunch of songs, and then
we bring parts in and work them up, and then we decide if we want to move forward with them. And
kind of goes back to what Paul said, like a lot of us writing, I think all of us have written songs in this album. I would say the album's very ambitious, or it's the most ambitious sounding Family Ghost album.
Sure.
Because it takes what the band's done in the past, I guess this is the first proper record I'm on.
Yeah.
So, I've added, some stuff there. There's one song I sing on. I think we all sing on every one song. So it's just like all of our ideas and personalities and, brought to the forefront.
And we make it a point to be collaborative, so that one person isn't drowning out the other three, or I've said
unless
consensus.
it sounds better.
Well, fair point. I keep saying consensus a lot, but that's really a big point. With we democratize the process among the four of us, because that's who we have to answer to.
Now, when I've seen you guys play live before, there's been a lot of people switching out of instruments. Is that something that still happens?
It is.
How do you decide who plays what on a? I wrote this song on guitar, so I'm going to play guitar on this one.
Honestly, it's
so it really kind of falls into place. Really, a lot easier than you think. Somehow I think we just someone brings an idea, and everybody just kind of picks something up and starts jumping in. If sometimes we're not feeling it, we might switch out with someone else. Like I'm not. There's some things that I've played. Maybe I started playing guitar on it, and then I switched to keyboard, or vice versa. Or I'm like, I'd like to play bass on this, or I like the groove, or whatever. But it's really funny. There's really not a straight process. We just tend to, I guess, we just get an idea in our head what we want to do, and we all kind of land in the right place.
And you really were pushing to play the drums on that one instrumental.
Well,
I never played drums.
I'm the only one who doesn't play drums on any of the songs. So when we had like we had an opening for extra percussion on one of the songs. I'm like, hey, I get to play. I now play all instruments as well. So
And
I don't want to be a slacker.
I ended up playing kind of disproportionate amount of guitar on this record, but I think a lot of the stuff I was bringing in, I was writing on guitar. Where before I'd switch, I play bass sometimes and play drums a couple of times, but that's just how it went this particular time out.
One thing about this record, I guess, is different is, like, on the instrumentation, it's not as fixed, I guess.
No.
Because before, we might switch instruments, but it was generally like, guitar, bass, drums, maybe keyboard. Still same kind of setup within that, but, like, this song we have songs without drums, or so...
Songs with no percussion at all.
Yeah. Not many, but one, but some drum machine. But that's different, I guess.
There sounded like too there was a mixing maybe of drum machine with live drums too on a couple of the tracks, or at least one or two.
Yeah,
on one song there is a live.
Well, the instrumental too.
That's right. I'm sorry. There are two songs that have live drums and drum machine. Yeah, we have the instrumental. Called Terminal Points. We do have drums on. Paul plays drums on that, along with the drum machine, and a song called Battle Chant, where all four of us play drums in tandem with the drum machine. We're playing in different time signatures.
We it couldn't have been. It's not like a live. It was like a studio. Overdub. Obviously.
Yeah, we play the song live. It's a drum machine only because we'd have to put everything else down. Drums.
Is there any type of unifying theme to the record, or is it just everybody kind of writes songs and brings it in, and how does that work?
I think we're just all really pretty sad people, and
You can tell by how we're laughing.
Yeah, we're pretty downtrodden and hopeless, and I think we try to capture that.
No, I think there's a positive moment if there's downtroddenness.
Ryan's new. We have it broken.
If that's
You're the English teacher.
Yeah, right. If there's that, despite the fact of that sadness going on, we're still pushing on. We're still moving on. We will go on as a band, as a group, as an effort.
You guys,
I think there's a positive aspect of that, despite the gloom.
Yeah, and I mean, well, the fact we keep going is, I guess, the positive. We live to mourn another day, I guess. Or something.
I don't know. I think so.
Each member's,
Yeah.
everyone writes their own their own lyrics. So yeah, they're different. Like I don't particularly think on this record my songs are like sad. The ones I sing.
No.
I mean, I guess they're not like
There's like a lot of call to arms, or like battle chant.
Battle chant's not very happy.
Well, it's an ironic call to arms.
Or like safety corridor kind of commentary on the desert.
Yeah,
and
I guess they're like
it could be wistful.
That's maybe that happiest.
Yeah. The songs I sing on this record are mostly around the theme, and
you sing more, so maybe by
it could be by
default.
Yeah, sure. That might be part of it. There's definitely a pervasive kind of, I guess, sadness. The songs I'm singing on this record, they all kind of came from the same place this time out. And I know I don't remember us ever formally discussing this, but I did want there to be like a claustrophobic kind of atmosphere to the record. I wanted it to feel suffocating, and I don't know if it just happened that way or if...
Well, I'm sorry I let you down. I didn't get that memo because safety corridor was about openness completely.
Well, I don't even mean lyrical themes, but I mean the tone of it. So.
It does seem at some points maybe between some of the noise stuff, some of the lyrics, there does seem to be a sort of alienation going on sometimes, and sometimes it feels almost purposeful, like you guys are trying to alienate, at least if not alienate the listener, at least sort of pass on that feeling,
I would say we are interested in passing on the feeling, but we're categorically disinterested in deliberately alienating anyone. We aren't contrarian. We simply do what we want and expect that if anyone wants to engage with us, they have to meet us halfway on what we're doing, because we do what we do to make our to please our own impulse, to please ourselves or follow our own impulses. That was really inarticulate, but we don't consider anyone outside of the band when we're doing this work.
Yeah, I mean. It's not so much about alienation, because we're trying to recreate music that we like or we want to listen to, and I listen to a lot of noise and electronic music, and the album starts with all the noise that intros the first song. Sort of, I guess it was a conscious nod to Pauline Oliveros, and maybe her music would alienate some people, but I love it, So
her work is incredible.
Maybe I don't know, someone who has expectations about what music what they think should sound like, or I don't know, maybe alienating. It's not conscious, but we just play what we. Yeah,
it's not a decision on our part to put that out there in that way.
Well, no. I think if we felt that there was something that was sounded like it was just seems like we were intentionally polarizing some people's opinions, like a love-hate thing, or we would. I don't think we'd do that. I mean, obviously anything that's on here, the four of us agreed on and we all liked and we enjoy it. So maybe some of the lyrics or some of the themes, there are I think in some terms, as far as we might express our own alienation. But we're definitely, we want as many people to like it as possible.
Sure. What kind of reactions do you guys get, and how do you get those reactions?
Very mixed.
Well, I guess I guess loudest or safety corridor is the most. What would you say?
I think it was jarring. When we played it live, it's been pretty jarring.
We could tell, or some of us could tell the audience, people in the crowd didn't like it. Because I think we played one show.
We opened
with it, and just real, because it's our heavy guitar song.
Quite abrasive.
Yeah,
abrasive is where I was going.
yeah.
What so when you do play live, what kind of shows?
We don't do it often. So.
No, not often enough.
It's really not that. There's so many. We used to kind of, I guess, we had a few options here in Midtown, but with Neil's Gone, Nocturnal, and Zinni's, some of the, you really don't have that many places to play, other than Murphy's or PNH or Lamplighter.
And honestly, we could do all that. We're just not. We haven't been looking to play shows too intensively lately because we've been working on this record. So we've played when asked, and we're trying to sort out what we're going to do for the record release show. Like, we're trying to find a space. We know who we want to play with, but we don't know where yet, or when, for that matter, because it's contingent on when we get the records.
It's currently at the press right now, being made at this moment, we hope. So, we spent a lot of time. We spent too much time working on this record, probably.
And that isn't necessarily deliberate so much as it is a matter of coordinating our schedules.
Yeah. I'd say it took a long time. You imagine someone working in the studio constantly. It would be like 3 hours a week,
right?
Most times,
Yeah.
Where was it recorded?
In my apartment.
Okay.
We recorded ourselves, and we practice there and we record there. We just do everything ourselves.
How is it with the pounding on the drums and all that? How are the neighbors?
Can be. Let them. We work out as long as I let them know and whatever. It's within some confines.
We received
okay.
a text message once and it said has the spaceship landed yet? I think that kind of sums it up what the neighbors feel.
Yeah. When they're around,
they can be pretty cool about it. Considering what we
given what we're doing, then there.
Bring on at times.
So you said the album is at the press. Is it? What are you pressing it to? Vinyl, CD?
It's CD only because of the length of the record. It would be a double LP, and it would be cost prohibitive to do that. And plus, not with these guys, but I actually prefer the CD format to vinyl, which I know is
a dinosaur in our CD. Not with the times, but that's what I like.
Is there going to be a digital release as well?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to do it through our Bandcamp page. So how we do everything. Most of our existing stuff is just up there for free. Anyone who wants it.
You can find
the Family Ghost. Bandcamp.com. Yeah.
So you guys have been around for 13 years or so. That's a long time just to see vinyl going, CDs coming, vinyl coming back, digital stuff, the fall of I call it the fall of the record industry. It's out there, but it's not really.
We've never been remotely close to the record industry.
No, we couldn't care less about how it operates. I said I prefer CDs. I do like having a physical format out there, and if vinyl was an option for us for this record, I wouldn't say no to it. But given that we finance the recording, we finance the pressing and everything, not that we expect to ever make any money on anything, or even to break even on it. That would be a bit much for us. I feel like in terms of interest.
We learned a little from our first real record where we made, and I guess Ryan and Paul can because they weren't in the band.
They're absolved.
So they're absolved. But we'll press 1,000, and I just got boxes of that fucking CD in my house. Boxes and it was even though it's less relatively cost effective to only do 100, now we're just doing 100.
And we're doing it exactly the way we want to.
Yeah.
So it's worth it for us to spend more on a smaller run that we at least have a chance of selling, and the object is what we want it to be.
Yeah,
We were very exacting about the packaging and the design. So.
pretty excited about that part
Yes.
because we got a nice, unique artwork that folds out, and I think it's going to look pretty good.
I don't even remember what this record sounds like.
Who did the artwork? How did that happen?
We all did it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all just photographs.
Yeah, photos we've taken that
And we had this logo that it's been drug around from the beginning, pretty much.
Yeah,
I guess.
Robert designed it very early on, and I don't know if this is just me, but I like unified theme and sleeve design, so I've wanted to have that as a design element on everything we've done, so we've carried that over.
So that big, it's the kind of block pattern is just like stamped on the pictures. Oh.
And it's a series of photographs that we all took with actually the tray card underneath is a painting that Paul did. But aside from that, it's all photography.
So what is like the goal of the band now that you're pressing your CDs exactly the way you want them? You're being selective about the shows that you're playing. What is the ultimate goal for?
To keep doing what we want and following our impulses and
Impulse, I think, is the key word.
Yes.
No goal. Just
No. Yeah, it's literally that. As long as we feel creatively satisfied by it and are happy with the results,
Yeah.
in as much as we can be.
We want to get back. We haven't played too much in a little while because finalizing the record and mixing, and after that, and
Definitely want to play more shows, and we're talking about doing like a Midwest swing in the spring, like a long weekend. Playing shows elsewhere. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. So.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
It's all good.
I think that's that's one thing we really want to do. Like, I personally I feel like some of the best shows we've played, or I almost feel we have more fans out of town than in Memphis, actually. Like, I feel like when we played in Chicago or Nashville, the shows have been, not to say our Memphis shows haven't been fun, but, like, they've been a fucking blast in Chicago and in Nashville. They're great. So,
What's the difference between the crowds in the two cities?
as
if you Memphis concert goers don't know.
People know our records more outside of Memphis, honestly. I mean, I'm coming from in the band. I've only been in there a couple of years, but I've just noticed that, like, when we've gone to Nashville, there's been fans there or people who know us in Chicago, like, versus in Memphis, like, there's just, I don't know. It's just been more energetic. People have liked it better. And we've just had a better time because of that.
Yeah, we're kind of operating in a vacuum here, and have done since we started, which isn't to say anything about audience so much as that's just how it's shaken out, and that's not a deliberate move on our part. We'd like for people to listen to it, but
yeah, we've got we have a positive response in Memphis too, but not as much, I guess.
Well, I think the key difference is we do, we still get a positive response here for the most part, but a lot of times it's we usually know the people. If we don't know them, we know the people that we know them through.
right.
And I think there's an excitement to playing out and seeing having people that you have no idea where they heard of you, or you don't know where they came across our music, or even why they're there, but they're just someone comes up and says, yeah, you guys are great, I love your music, and I guess it's the thing of in Memphis we feel like there's a safety net of people. We have people that will always come see us here. When you're out, traveling around and going to different places, you have no idea.
The people who come out aren't necessarily they aren't obligated.
Right, they're there. We know that they're there because they like us, and their enthusiasm is just it just seems so much more infectious because they're total strangers, and I guess there's something so gratifying about that. But
How are they finding out about you guys in Chicago? And
We have
different online groups and things. So
yeah.
Internet mostly is just you put things like there's different there's like a sound page that that they're members on. There's Facebook. There's just different all sorts of outlets. You never know. Just all it takes is one person to mention you on their blog or whatever else, or share a song, and you might have a dozen more people out of nowhere that.
Jacques a big schmoozer on the EA board.
Oh yeah, I'm schmoozing it up all the time. I have made a lot of connections through the electrical audio forum, like in terms of setting up shows and bringing bands from around the country into Memphis as well. And we've made a lot of band friends that way.
Yeah.
Have gotten tour help that way, and have played to sympathetic audiences, particularly in the Midwest, who have kind of come to our stuff through that particular forum. So that helps. I think that is a very specific thing that has helped us, and a large group of like-minded people kind of congregate there and set up events and everything, mostly in and around Chicago.
How large is that group of sympathetic electronic musicians and audiences out there?
It's not even electronic musicians, it's just musicians of any type who've congregated around a particular recording studios forum, and it's easily in the hundreds of people. And broadly speaking, that's not to say that those are the people who particularly enjoy our work, but in terms of this community, there are hundreds of people active in it, putting on shows. And we've benefited a little bit from that, and we've made some great friends, and found some great bands through that.
So what's the plan with this record? We've got is at the press now. Is there an official release date for it, or what's the plan to get it out there?
We don't. It doesn't particularly matter when we release it. I mean, whenever they show up.
Yeah, we want to, of course, have a show around it, but it hasn't been set up yet. Because I guess we didn't know when we'd have it, but I guess now we're about to start thinking about looking to set up a show.
Yeah, I'd like to have something set up for December. Yeah,
that's the month we're looking at. So the end of this year,
right? And I'd like
before
to do
this
it,
year is over.
Oh my God, I'd like to do it at a place that isn't a rock club or a bar.
Yeah. That around that time in December will be about the 2-year anniversary of when we started the record.
That's yeah.
Yeah, we're like Boston.
Yeah.
Just like Boston.
We are.
So, if people want to find out more about this record, know when it comes out, knows when the show, where do they go on the interwebs to find out?
Look, we're on Facebook.
It's under the Family Ghost. I assume, I don't know what the URL is. And
Yeah, you go on Facebook. There's a little at the top of the screen. There's a little search box. You
so
type
glad
in
he's
the
explaining
We're
this.
the
The-
American Family Ghost.
space family space book, and then ghost,
That's
and we'll probably come up somewhere.
And I mentioned this before. I tactfully plugged this prematurely, but
Waiting for the big.
yeah, the big
Connection,
reveal
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But all of our existing material, with a couple of exceptions, is up at our Bandcamp page, and that's thefamilyghost.bandcamp.com. And all of our existing stuff you can just download for free or pay what you want or whatever. If you're interested, it's all there.
All right. Well, that was the first in 2 or 3 months of the podcast, and this was the Family Ghost. And I appreciate you guys hanging out and talking to me.
Well, thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
And so make sure you check the podcast site, and you can go to richardalester.com, and you can find out more about these guys and all the ridiculousness I'm up to. Thanks.
2011.
2011, baby. 11, baby. 11, baby.